Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, all. So,
Good morning.
before we start any, the topic which we have which we started is last session, right? So we started discussing about complaints. I think, yeah, complaints. Okay. So in complaints, we discussed about credit memo process, debit memo process, and we started discussing about the returns. And I told you to work on free of charge subsequent delivery. So that we'll discuss anyway today. Okay. So after the subsequent free of charge, we'll discuss about the invoice correction also. So there are total 5 complaints. So in which we have discussed about the credit memo, debit memo, and returns. Now we are going to discuss about the free of charge subsequent deliveries. Right. So any questions before we start the session? Any question in general? If you have any questions, you can ask me. Fine. So free of charge subsequent delivery. In the first scenario, so in the credit memo process, what we discuss is like when the customer is customer is overcharged. Sometimes customers might be overcharged, right? At that time, company will be giving money back to the customers. Certain times, though product is not returned to the company, okay, so sometimes company will issue the credit memo saying that the product completely damaged during the transit. Okay, at the time company customer the entire product not return చేయకున్నా సరే, so company will issue the credit memo saying that it is damaged or expired, whatever is the reason. In this case, we'll be issuing the credit memo directly, though there is no returns, right? The second scenario is debit memo. The customer is charged less than so what is about to charge, right? So instead of charging him certain amount, company charge less by mistake or some whatever is the reason. So in this case, the company will collect the money from the customer by issuing the debit memo, right? So that is a debit memo process which we discussed in last session. Then returns. When the customer is returning the material back to the company, whatever the returns the company received from the customer for that amount, so company will issue the credit for returns. Right? That also we discussed. Now, how the returns will be managed, what is the moment type, so that also we discussed in last session. Now, okay, next scenario is free of charge subsequent delivery. Okay, so free of charge subsequent delivery. So in this case, in this scenario, what will happen is, so customer will place the order, customer will place the order, delivery will be done, and billing also created. Then, so customer found that there is a damage or expired or whatever the quality issue. So whatever is the reason, so customer is going to create the return order. Okay, so that means he wanted to return the material whatever he has received. So we'll be getting the return order. So as we discussed in last session in the returns, return order can be created with reference to sales order, or we can create the return order with reference to billing document. Either we can take the billing document as a reference or sales order also reference. So return order, it's a kind of order only. It's kind of sales document. Okay. So the document type which you use for the return order is RE, which we already know. Then we'll make the return delivery. So return delivery document type is LR, and we'll do the goods receipt. The stock will get updated in our blocker stock, return stock. Instead of updating in the unrestricted stock, the stock will get updates in the return stock. That is completely blocked stock. It cannot be delivered to any other customers. So in returns, what we did is, okay, so after receiving the product back to the plant, so company is issuing the credit memo. So credit for returns, nothing but a credit memo. But in this case, customer don't want to have the money back. Okay, so you don't want money. You don't want to issue the credit memo. You don't want to have the credit memo by the company. Instead of that, you wanted to have the replacement of the material. It can be same material, different material, whatever it is. If it is different material, then price difference will be paid by the customer to the company. With same material, then it is not required to have the additional amount from the customer, right? So in this case, customer is is going to receive the replacement of the particular material. So for that, we need to create the free of charge subsequent order. Okay, it's a sales document type. Okay, sales document type. Okay, the sales document is a sales document. The sales document type for the free of charge subsequent delivery is SDF. This here SDF. What is the sales document type for the credit memo? Sorry, credit memo request. What is the sales document type for the credit memo request? చెప్పాలండి. What is sales document then?
CM.
G2.
G2. Okay. G2
G2
or
or CR.
Yeah, not CM only, it's CR.
Sorry, yeah, CR.
Okay, what is the sales document type for the debit memo?
LF.
L2.
So అది కాదండి. So actually LF తప్పు, F2 తప్పు. LF అనేది delivery document type. So
Oh, correct.
Yes.
Sorry.
I mean it's a basic mistake అండి. So మనం అంటే ఎవరి దగ్గర చెప్పకండి అలాగా. So interviews లో దాంట్లో ఇవన్నీ అంటే by seeing these answers, so they'll be able to find it out, like, so it's a very very silly mistake. So there is a lot of difference between F2, there is a lot of difference between CR and LF,
CM.
right? Yeah.
Right.
So there is entirely different topic actually. So
Correct.
don't mix up everything. Be careful when you're like, but as of now it's okay. But future lo గుర్తుపెట్టుకుంటానని చెప్తున్నాను. So G2 or CR వచ్చేసి create memo request కు, at the same time debit memo request కు వచ్చేసి L2 or
DR.
DR.
Okay, debit memo. So name itself says, right? So debit memo request, abbreviation DR, right? L. So L2 is general language. So at least you can tell DR. Okay, DR or L2, G2 or CR. So same way, what is the sales document type for the returns?
RE.
RE. Very good, excellent. Okay, yeah. So sorry. So the same way, free of charge subsequent order. The sales document type for the free of charge subsequent order is SDF. Okay, SDF will be created always with reference to return order. Without return order reference or without order reference, like, you can say it's a sales document, right? So without return order reference, we'll not be able to create the free of subsequent order. Okay, so once we create the SDF, then we'll create the normal delivery and PJ. There is no billing document will created in this case, because so billing is already done in the first step itself. So just a replacement. Whatever the returns we have done, for that we are getting the replacement. How this process can be configured in SAP, that we are going to see now. Okay, so first of all, let us create the order, normal order. I'm just going through this flow, whatever the flow which I've given here. So first we'll get the order, delivery, picking and PJ, and billing document. Okay, so I'm just creating the regular order, normal order. Format is done. Format the process. Okay, so enter the material. Okay, so check the incompletion log. So let me enter the price also. Price is not coming, but I'm just entering it manually. Check the edit and incompletion log. So document is complete. Then save the order. Now I'm going to create the delivery. So delivery document type is LF, by default will take DG01. So schedule lines are ordered. That means, so we'll give the next delivery date and just giving some random future date. King. From which store location you want to make the delivery. Picked quantity. So I'm doing the PJ. If you want to check this stock, you can check MMB. It's not a mandatory activity, but just for your reference, right? Okay, so 1451 stock is available. In return, we have like almost 7 quantity we have in the returns, right? Sorry, it's called returns 7 quantity. Okay, let it be. So now we'll do the post goods is issue. So post goods issue is done. Like if you want to check the stock now, it will become to 1450, right? So now we'll create the billing document VF01. So as per this process, so order, delivery, picking and PZA and billing has been completed. So I'll take the billing document reference. So or we can take the order reference, anything you can take to create the return order. I'm going to create the return order. This time we'll take the order reference. Last time we have created with reference to billing, right? So I'll take the order number, sales order number. I'll go to VA01. What is the sales document type for the returns? RE. So with reference to order, I'm going to create the return order. So select the order tab, enter the order number, so that all the details from order to return order will be copied. Enter only PO number and PO date. Right. So enter the order reason. Why are you creating the return order? Like you can enter poor quality, whatever the reason. So check credit memo. Anyway, billing block is there, not required to remove this because we are not going to issue the credit memo, right? So that is the one thing. And check the incompletion log. Document is complete. Save it. Okay, so now we are going to create the return delivery. Okay, so enter the picked store location. So picked quantity is 0. We cannot enter it. It's like it is not enabled because we are not going to pick up the material from the plant. We are going to receive the material, right? So that is the reason picked quantity always will be 0 when you are creating the return order. Then post goods receipt. Okay, so here we have a post goods receipt. That means okay, enter the store location. Sorry. Suppose return delivery has been posted. If you want to check the stock, okay, so no stock will get updated here. But if you check the return stock, what will be the return stock? It became 8. So what is the difference between return stock and unrestricted stock? So what is the difference, Andy?
Return stock is something which customer returns and needs to be checked before it can be put to stock.
Exactly. So it put to unrestricted stock. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So there are different kinds of stocks are available here. So something we always deal with return stock as well as unrestricted stock. Okay. So these two are very important for us. Okay. So now, okay. So we are not going to create the create memo here. So instead, I'll take the return order number as a reference. So this is my return order number. Okay, so here I'm going to create the free of charge subsequent order. So I'm going to create the return order VA01. So the order type is SDF. So it is mandatory to enter the order number. Okay, so entering the return order number, copy. So sometimes customer may request the different material than what he was placed the order before. So in this case, the price may differs, right? So in this case, that is the reason we should have separate pricing procedure need to be determined. So how the pricing procedure will be determined, that will be different case. But as of now, I'm just going to resolve this issue to have the regular pricing procedure itself. I want to have the same pricing procedure because I want to make the replacement of the same material instead of different material. So you will not face this issue. So I'll try to rectify this because it is trying to determine the different pricing procedure. VA01. So enter the order number, copy. So all the details will be copied into the sales document. Enter PO number. PO date, which item you want to place the order, that need to be entered here. So I wanted to replace the same material, Safari. Okay, if you see here, price is coming as 0. Okay, so price is not charged. And item category here is KLN. Okay, KLN is the item category. And if you see the schedule line category, it will be same because we are going to make the regular delivery, right? So that is the reason we'll have the same schedule line category whatever we have for the regular order. Okay, so shipping, like we'll have all the ship land and shipping point, everything will be determined. Only price will be 0 because we are not going to charge for this material for the particular customer, right? So now everything is fine here. Go to edit and check the incompletion log, right? So then save the order. Then VL01N, I'm going to make the delivery. Do the picking and PCA. Do the PCA. PCA is done. So with this, so replacement delivery has been completed. So we did the free subsequent order, delivery, PCA. Even if you try to create the billing document, system will not allow because the particular order is not relevant for billing, right? If you try to create the billing document, system will not allow. It is incorrect because go to edit and check the log. Also, it will show you that the billing document is blocked for billing. It is not relevant for billing at all, right? So now, okay, so now why system is behaving differently than regular order, right? Or written order? Because of the controlling elements. The first controlling element, what we need to see here is SDF, sales document type SDF. Okay, the sales document category for SDF which we use here is I, right? I means it's a free of charge, order without charge. What is A? Sales document category. What is A? It is inquiry. System understand that it is inquiry. If it is B, then system understand that. What are the different categories we have discussed till now? In one of you discussed about inquiry.
Inquiry, quotation, order, returns.
Very good.
Order without charge, credit memo, debit memo.
Exactly. So now we are discussing about the order without charge. So almost like most of the categories we have discussed till now, right? So now, so here sales document category I, then system understand that it is a free of charge order. Then so everything is fine. Reference mandatory. So this is one of the major difference what you can see here than the regular order. Reference mandatory is C. So what is C here? Because of this setting only, system will ask for the order number to be entered whenever I create the order without charge. Free of charge order, right? So as I told you, so it is mandatory to create the free of charge order with reference to written order, right? So system will ask for the system will show you pop-up that to enter the order numbers because of the setting only. Order without with reference to sales order. Right? These are one of the important setting you need to remember here in the SDF. And so coming down, so regular delivery type. So billing document type is not assigned here. It is blank. That means this sales document is not at all relevant for billing. We don't require to create the billing document for this material, for this order. So that is the reason it is blank here. Right. So that is the one thing. Okay. So these are the main differences what you can see here. And moving on to item category, VO V7. KLN. Okay, see here, pricing is blank. That means this particular item with the item category KLN. Okay, so is not relevant for pricing. So that is the reason we are getting the pricing is 0. So no price is relevant for this material with this item category because it's a replacement. For replacement items, we don't want to calculate the price because of this setting. Pricing is blank, so system will not be able to find out the system will not able to determine the price for the particular item in the sales SDF with order without charge. Right. So then what else we need? Billing relevance is also blank because it is not relevant for billing. So these are the main two differences what we can see what you can see in the item category KLM. Right. So now we understood about the controlling elements of pre-op charge subsequent order, header says document type and item category. Anyway, scheduling category CP, which we already know the settings in that. So no need to discuss again on the scheduling category CP, which we already know about that. Right. So this is about the pre-op charge subsequent order. If you want to see the entire flow, also you can see, like if I go to any change mode or any display mode of any document, right? So if I see here, entire, I think order delivery. Okay, if you go to here also, you can see entire flow from order to okay. If I go to see here, order delivery, picking, PCA, invoice, return order, return delivery, GR, free of such secondary order. Right, everything you can see here, entire flow you can see, right? This is about the pre-op charge subsequent order. Right. So in complaints, we discussed about, like, credit memo process, debit memo process. Okay, so then we discussed about the returns and STF. The last one in the complaints is invoice correction request, which is very, very important again. Invoice correction. So what do you mean by invoice correction? What is the invoice correction, Andrew? What do you mean by invoice correction?
We may have charged him incorrectly, and that
Exactly.
needs to be corrected.
Exactly. For example, we have the invoice F2 billing document, right? We have F2. So let's say we have the amount which is $100. Now it may, like, it is incorrect. You wanted to change it. So he wanted to enter he wanted to charge to 80 only, but he charged 100. So we are correcting the invoice from 100 to 80. So what does that mean? Customer is charged over, or he's overcharged or less charged? So
Less. Overcharge.
no.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
it's overcharged, right? So
Yeah.
invoice 100 on the, so we corrected to 80. That means he is overcharged. So in this case, what we need to issue, credit memo or debit memo?
Credit memo.
Credit memo.
For what is the amount? For which amount?
20.
$20. For 20, we need to issue the credit memo, right? Very good. So another case, so we charged 100, we corrected to 140. So what does that mean?
Undercharged.
Customer is charged less, right? So in this
Yeah.
case, we need to issue the
Debit memo.
debit memo. Very good. Excellent. So what is the amount?
40.
40. Very good. Excellent. So first case లో ఏంటంటే మనకు, సో కస్టమర్ అనేవాడు సో చార్జ్డ్ ఓవర్ చార్జ్డ్ అనమాట, ఇక్కడ చార్జ్ లెస్. సో దాని లైక్ మనకు 100 చేయాలంటే, సో వి కరెక్టెడ్ టు 140. ఫర్ 140 వి నీడ్ టు ఇష్యూ ది డెబిట్ నో. సో how this can be done in SAP, how the invoice correction can be done. So when we do the invoice correction, okay, based on the differences, we can understand that whether it is a credit memo or debit memo, right? So now we'll see how to do that in SAP. Okay, first of all, we'll create the one order. First of all, we'll create the order. I'll put a flow here. Order, delivery, LF is the delivery document type, right? Picking and PJ, F2, right? We can correct the value or you can correct the quantity also, whatever. Okay, so I'll create the sales document type OR.
సుధాకర్ గారు,
Yeah.
ఇప్పుడు ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ ఆర్డర్స్ దే ఆర్ ఆల్రెడీ క్లోజ్డ్, but still can we not take that invoice to make the corrections?
We can do it. So I just wanted to show you the new flow instead of disturbing the existing flows. That is the reason I'm going to create that one.
Okay, thank you.
So here I'm going to create the new order. Continue. Okay, so document is complete. Then save it. VL01N. Liquid quantity is 01. Okay, so PCA VL01. Okay, so let's say save it. I think manaku amount minus lo undi. So if we have it in minus కాకుండా పాజిటివ్ లో వస్తే మనకు కొంచెం డిఫరెన్స్ we can understand the difference. Let me create another order, otherwise we need to cancel entire thing again. Okay, so enter the amount price. So normally it should come automatically. Now why it is not coming? So that's fine. I'll create the directly from here. I'll create the delivery from here. So we have 01. So invoice has been created, billing document has been created. So now I want to correct the invoice. So whatever the invoice which you have created now, so I want to correct the value. If you want to correct the value or amount, quantity, whatever, you can change the quantity as well as, okay, so invoice also. Okay, so based on the differences, okay, we can issue the credit memo or debit memo to the customer, right? So now I want to create the invoice correction request. First, we need to create the request. So the sales document type which we use, which we use for creating the invoice correction request is RK. Okay, so RK is the sales document type for the invoice correction request. Call it the invoice correction request. First, you need to create the request, right? So this invoice correction request RK will be created always with reference to F2. It is not like other scenarios, right? So whereas for returns or invoice correction, credit memo request or debit memo request, we can take sales document or billing document as a reference. But in this case, for RK invoice correction request, the sales document, we always take the billing document as a reference, F2. Why? What is the logic behind that? Why do you want to take the billing document as a reference always? ఎందుకు తీసుకోవాలండి? So billing document ఎందుకు తీసుకోవాలి? Yeah.
Billing document that's basically a document which shows you how much is charged to that customer.
Exactly.
So we'll get the
Yeah.
exact price when we take that.
Yeah. So that means, the name itself says that it's an invoice correction, right? So invoice correction, nothing but a billing invoice, nothing but a billing document, right? So we are going to correct the invoice. So we have to take the invoice only as a reference. So we are not doing the order correction. We are doing the invoice correction, right? So we have to take the invoice as a reference, right? So I'll take the RK to create the RK. I'll take the billing document number as a reference. If I go to VA01 RK, so the moment once I enter, system automatically ask for the billing document number. So how the system will understand that for RK, so invoice or billing document number as a reference, or it is a mandatory? How the system will understand that? ఎలా అర్థమవుతుందండి? అప్పుడు సిస్టమ్ కు ఎప్పుడైతే నేను ఇన్వాయిస్ కరెక్షన్ రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలనుకున్నానో, సో బిల్డింగ్ డాక్యుమెంట్ ఇస్ మ్యాండేటరీ టు బి ఎంటర్డ్. హౌ ది సిస్టమ్ ఇస్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్?
Because of the sales document type.
Exactly, and very good, excellent. Yeah, because of the sales document type RK. What was the setting in that? What is the setting అండి? ఇందాక చూసాం కదా మనం, SDF చూసాం. What was that field name? Order reference, right?
Yeah, order reference, yes.
Yeah, so I'll show you that. So now billing document, I'll copy. So all the details from billing document to invoice correction request will be copied. Just enter even number PO date. ఇక్కడ చూసే మనకు సో 2 items ఉన్నాయి. So 2 items. One is first item will be called as a credit item. Second item will be called as a debit item. Okay. So first మనకి ఇక్కడ చూస్తే 2 line items ఉన్నాయి. So first line item will be called as a debit item, credit item, and second item will be debit item. So credit item cannot be written. Okay. So this is the original quantity which we charged him. Second item is how much you are going to charge it, or how much you want to correct it, whether it can be quantity or price, whatever. For example, I want to make it for 5. That means customer is like, customer is charged only for 1 quantity, but he is about to charge for 5 quantity. So if you see here, the amount, I'm just changing to 5. So the amount is coming as negative. That means we are going to charge him debit now. Okay. So based on the differences, when I said based on the differences, if it is negative value, then it will be a debit memo. If it is a positive value, that means you're going to pay back to the customers. That is a credit memo will be issued to the customer. Here, so we charged only for 1 quantity, but we need to charge for 5 quantity. We are correcting the invoice to 5. It was like, it was charged for 1. So in this case, the amount is coming, the net value is coming is in negative. So that means we need to issue the debit memo to the customers. That means customer has to pay back to the company, right? So these are, I mean, if someone will ask you what are the different items you can see in the invoice correction request, you can tell them that. So in invoice correction request, there will be 2 items. One is credit item and second one is debit item. So first item, credit memo, cannot be changed. Okay, it is the original quantity, which is our original item, which is delivered to the customer. And second item, the corrections, whatever the corrections you wanted to make, whether value or quantity, we can make the changes in the second item, that is called as a debit item. So based on the differences, whether it is the negative value or positive value, for the negative value will be issuing the debit memo, for positive value it will be treated as a credit memo, right? So here, incompletion log, check the incompletion log. So enter the reason, the same way how we create the debit memo or credit memo, right? So enter the reason, poor quality or damage transit, whatever you can say, other, whatever the reason you want to select. So it doesn't matter. You can see somewhere discrepancy. Yeah. Quantity difference, discrepancy, whatever the reason you wanted to select. Okay. So check credit memo. Though we are issuing the debit memo, so by default it will come as a check credit memo. So, and item category for the credit item is a G2N. If you see here, G2N. For debit item, the item category will be L2N. Now tell me, any one of you, what will be the schedule line category? Schedule line category ఏంటండి ఇక్కడ ఏముంటుంది? What are we creating? Like you are creating the invoice correction, right?
CP?
So ఎందుకండి CP?
Because there will be a billing document.
So actually schedule line category అంటే ఏంటండి?
Basically schedule lines is when the goods are moving out on what
So,
schedules.
Goods and already move అయిపోయాయి కదా?
Okay. So there will not be any schedule line.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
That is
Got
the
it.
logic behind it.
Got it.
Okay. So ఎప్పుడైనా సరే schedule lines in sales order లో ఉన్న schedule lines will be converted as a delivery documents అన్నమాట. So delivery documents లో ఉన్నాయి, schedule lines ఉండవు, ఇంకా ఆర్డర్ వరకే ఉంటాయి ఎప్పుడైనా సరే schedule lines. So order లో ఉన్న schedule lines will be converted as a delivery documents, right? So once delivery is done, then what is the need of having the schedule lines again?
So అయితే ఇప్పుడు these are only corrections, so there will not be any schedule line code at all.
Billing documents correct చేస్తున్నప్పుడు billing document లో schedule lines ఉన్నావు అన్నమాట.
Correct. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Right? Yeah. So here there will not be any schedule lines for the credit memo request or debit memo request, right? So here I'm just checking the incompletion log. So remove the billing block also if you have any blocks here. So then save it. So there is no delivery. VF01. Whenever there is a delivery, there will be schedule lines. So 18 lakhs minus, that means it is a debit memo. So heading says credit memo, but value in minus, right? So it is nothing but a debit memo. Save it. So debit memo has been created to the customers, right? This is about the invoice correction request. Okay, if you see the flow again, you can see the entire flow here. VA02. If I go to document flow, order, delivery, invoice correction request, create now. Right? So these are we can complete the flow. And coming to the controlling elements, VO, V8. So RK is the sales document type. If I go to details, so sales document category is K. What is the sales document category for the credit memo? For credit memo also it is K. Right? For credit memo also it is K. For invoice correction request also it is K. But how the system will differentiate whether it is a credit memo request or invoice correction request? Right? For both it is K only. That means system understand that RK also it's kind of credit memo request. But it has to differentiate, right? So if you want to differentiate between these two, then we'll use the indicator. Do you remember, like when we were discussing about the sales document type settings, we discussed about this field indicator. It is a subcategory of the sales document category, right? So if you see the indicator is D, that means okay, system understand that okay, so D means invoice correction request. Okay, so by seeing the setting sales document category, system understand that okay, it is also credit memo request. But in the credit memo request, by seeing the indicator D, then system understand that okay, it is a credit memo request which is belongs to invoice correction request, right? So there's a way system will differentiate whether it is a credit memo or invoice correction request. That you need to remember. This is one of the important setting in the invoice correction request. Okay, reference mandatory. So this is about which I was talking about, right? How the system will understand that billing document need to be entered when you're getting the invoice correction request. So because of this setting only. Reference mandatory is M, right? With reference to billing document. So these are one of the important setting need to remember. Okay, so and order related billing document type is G2 and billing block 08. Because of this setting only, we will be getting the billing block. Okay, so these are the settings need to remember. And anyway, item categories G2N is a credit memo item category, and L2N is a debit memo request item category. So that we already discussed. No need to discuss it again, right? And there will not be any schedule lines here. So this is about the invoice correction request. So with this, we have completed the so complaints, like we discussed about the credit memo, debit memo process, returns process, and free of charge subsequent deliveries and invoice correction request, right? So we discussed about it. So any questions here before we move to next topic? Questions on even questions on before I open any next slide. Next topic idea ఉందండి ఎవరికైనా? సో లాస్ట్ టైం ఎప్పుడో చెప్పినట్టు గుర్తు. ప్రైజింగ్ కాదు, ప్రైజింగ్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ అండి. సో దానికన్నా ముందు ఒక చిన్న టాపిక్ డిస్కస్ చేయాలి. చిన్న టాపిక్ కాదు, సో 2 టాపిక్స్ ఉంటాయి. నెక్స్ట్ టాపిక్ మన కన్జైన్మెంట్ ప్రాసెస్ గురించి నేర్చుకుందాం. సరే, కన్జైన్మెంట్ అంటే విన్నారండి ఎప్పుడన్నా? What do you mean by consignment in business perspective? ఎవరైనా ఎస్ఏపీలో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళకి ఐడియా కన్జైన్మెంట్ అంటే. Fine. Okay. So the next topic which you're going to discuss. Yeah, go ahead. Chapani.
It's basically goods which are to be delivered to someone.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
certain goods a customer will be assigned certain goods, and that
Yep.
assigning is basically called consignment అనుకుంటున్నాను.
అంతే అండి, కరెక్ట్. సో కాకపోతే ఇంకా మనం ఇంకా బెటర్ వేలో చెప్పొచ్చు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ కరెక్ట్. లైక్ వాట్ యు ఆర్ సేయింగ్ ఈస్ కరెక్ట్. కాకపోతే మనం కొంచెం బిజినెస్ వేలో ఆలోచిద్దాం. సో హౌ దిస్ కన్జ్యూమర్ ప్రాసెస్ విల్ బి యూజ్డ్ ఆర్ ఇట్ విల్ వర్క్ ఇన్ బిజినెస్. సో సో బేసికల్గా ఏంటంటే, సో దెర్ విల్ బి కంపెనీ, దెర్ విల్ బి కంపెనీ, దెర్ విల్ బి కస్టమర్. So let's say మన దగ్గర ఒక ఆటోమొబైల్ కంపెనీ ఉంది. సో వీ హ్యావ్ ఆటోమొబైల్ కంపెనీ, సమ్ XYZ, Tata Motors or something else, whatever. So they are going to introduce new products. Okay, so they are going to introduce the new cars into market. So let's say they are manufactured almost 1 lakh cars. 1 lakh cars. They want to distribute. They want to sell this in India or like whatever the country. They have their own specific country. So they'll sell it in the particular country, India, for example. So as part of promotional activity, as part of the promotional activity in each city, metropolitan cities, okay, so for major dealers, they want to give 200 cars. Okay, 200 cars. So let's say dealers are nothing but a customer only. Okay, so dealers దగ్గర so 200 cars stock పెడతారు అన్నమాట. సో స్టాక్ పెట్టేటప్పుడు ఏం చెప్తారంటే, సార్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు కీప్ ది స్టాక్ ఇన్ యువర్ ప్లేస్, బట్ వీఆర్ నాట్ గోయింగ్ టు చార్జ్ యూ at this moment. You sell it. Okay, you sell it to other customers. From dealers, you sell it to end customers, right? End customers. You sell it out. So then only you are going to bill it. Okay, so company is going to stock, deliver the 200 stock at customer's place. So let's say today he billed for 10 quantity, or he sold 10 quantity. He sold 10 quantity. The stock in the dealer's place, it will become as a 190. So whatever is sold to end customers, it can be like, resale, or what it can be self consumption, whatever. So my consumption stock, my stock is getting reduced. So why I'm talking it as a my stock? Because though the company is keeping the stock at the customer's place, the ownership of the material or stock remains with the company only, because it is not part of sales. We are just keeping the stock at the customer's place. We are not going to bill them. We are going to bill them whenever my stock is get reduces here, right? So the stock which is there at the customer's place, which is called as a consignment stock, the entire process will be called as a consignment process. So the company is going to keep the stock at the customer's place. Though the stock at the customer's place, the ownership of the material remains with the company only. The ownership will be get transfers only when he sells the product to the other customers, or the ownership of this material will transfers only when my consignment stock get reduces, whatever the reason, right? So how this process can be configured in a SAP, that we are going to discuss now. Okay, so అర్థమైందా consignment process అంటే? So company వాళ్ళు వచ్చేసి, so they are going to keep the stock at the customer's place, and they will be billed only when he consumes the material. Consumption in the sense, it can be sell or it can be resell, whatever is the reason. మనకి ఇండియాలో చూస్తే, సో మనకు ఏదైనా మన పేపర్ షాప్స్ ఉంటాయండి. సో మార్నింగ్ వచ్చేసి పేపర్స్ పెట్టేసి వెళ్తాడు, ఈవినింగ్ వచ్చి సో హీల్ కౌంట్ ది పేపర్స్. ఓకే, సో కౌంట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎన్ని సేల్ చేశారో వాటికి మాత్రమే ఛార్జ్ చేసి, రిమైనింగ్ దే విల్ టేక్ ఇట్ బ్యాక్, రైట్? సో దట్ ఈస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ కన్సైన్మెంట్ స్టాక్ అనమాట. ఇక్కడ కూడా అంతే. సో వాళ్ళకు 30 days టైం ఇస్తారు. దే విల్ కీప్ ది స్టాక్ అట్ ది కస్టమర్స్ ప్లేస్. సో ఎవ్రీడే వాళ్ళు స్టాక్ చెక్ చేసుకుంటారు, ఇన్వెంటరీ చెక్ చేసుకుంటారు. ఇన్వెంటరీ తగ్గితే దే విల్ బిల్ టు హిమ్. సో దట్ మీన్స్ ఓనర్షిప్ విల్ గెట్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్స్. ఓకే, 30 days తర్వాత స్టాక్ స్టిల్ స్టాక్ ఉంటే, సో దే విల్ టేక్ ఇట్ బ్యాక్ ఫ్రమ్ ది కస్టమర్స్ ప్లేస్. సో దట్ ప్రాసెస్ విల్ బి కాల్డ్ ది కన్సైన్మెంట్ స్టాక్. Okay, so here basically in SAP will follow 4 different steps here. Consignment fill up. First one will be consignment fill up. The sales document type which you use here is KB or CF. So second step is consignment. Sorry, it's not a customer, it's a consignment fill up. Okay, so consignment issue, KE or CI. Either we can use KE or CI as a sales document. Third one is consignment returns. Okay, so KR or what is the another sales document type? Just guess it. Guess చేయండి ఒకసారి. కన్జ్యూమర్ ఫిల్అప్ కి వచ్చేసి CF, కన్జ్యూమర్ ఇష్యూ కి వచ్చేసి CI, కన్జ్యూమర్ రిటర్న్ కి వచ్చేసి
CR.
CR అయినా
CR already we have.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్ గా అదే అండి. సో అందుకే అడిగాను క్వశ్చన్. CR ఆల్రెడీ మనము క్రెడిట్ మెమో రిక్వెస్ట్ కి ఆడాం కదా.
Right.
So we cannot use it here. So if I
Correct.
enter CR, then it will become as a credit memo request.
Correct.
Should be very careful. So we use CYNR. Okay, very good. Andy. Yeah, so CYNR. So then consignment pickup. KA or CB. So these are the different sales document type which you use for the consignment fill up, consignment issue, consignment returns, and consignment pickup. First, we'll discuss about the consignment fill up. So consignment fill up ఏంటంటే, so company will keep the stock at the customer's place. So, but they're not going to bill them. First step ఏంటి? So where company is just going to keep the stock at the customer's place. Let's say my stock is 1,000. Okay, so we are going to keep the stock of 200 at the customer's place. So we are going to make the delivery to the customers. The moment once we do the PGA, my stock, unrestricted stock will become as 800 and reserved stock will become 200. It is a consignment stock. Reserved stock nothing but a consignment stock. That means 200 stock is reserved to the specific customer. Okay, so why it is showing in our stock? Because we're just keeping the stock at the customer's place. We did not sell it out, right? So it will be like, it will be still in our stock only. The ownership of the stock still remains with the company only. So the price will be 0. There will not be any billing also will happen in this case. Okay, if you see the process flow here, first of all, we'll create the consignment fill up order by getting into VA01. So not VA10, it's a VA01. Okay, so by using the sales document type KB or CF, then we'll make the delivery and we'll do the picking and PGA. That's it. So we are not going to bill them. We are going to keep the stock at the customer's place. The moment once we do the PGA, okay, the stock will get reduces from unrestricted stock and updates in the customer consignment stock. It is kind of reservation, right? So let's do that. Okay, so we will go to VA01. Or sorry.
Sudhakar garu.
Yeah. And
ఇక్కడ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ 200 ఉండాలా?
200 అనేది కాదండి. సో ఎంతైనా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు మన దగ్గర స్టాక్. మన దగ్గర ఫస్ట్
అంటే in this example we have taken it as like
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ. సో మనకు ఇప్పుడు 1450 ఉంది అన్రిస్ట్రిక్టెడ్ స్టాక్. ఐ వాంట్ టు కీప్ ది 200 స్టాక్ ఆర్ 100 స్టాక్ వాట్ ఎవర్. లెట్స్ సే 47 స్టాక్ మనం కస్టమర్ కి డెలివరీ చేద్దాం.
ఓకే.
సో ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ ది కన్జ్యూమర్ ఫిల్ అప్ ఆర్డర్ KB sales document type KB or CF, right? We can use any of these two. Okay, so so 47 stock I want to keep at the customer's place. ఈ కస్టమర్ కు, సో ఇక్కడ చూడండి కస్టమర్ నంబర్ 301820820 కస్టమర్ కు. సో ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ గోయింగ్ టు డెలివర్ ది 47 quantity without billing. So price also 0 here. The item category, if you see here, KBN, schedule line category we have as E1, right? So I'm just going to make the delivery by checking the incompletion log first. The price, okay, if you check the price also, price will be 0. So there is no, we are not going to charge anything, right? So now I'll save the consignment fill up order. Then I'll create the delivery. Enter the storage location. Picked quantity is 47. So the stock which is available is 1447, right? So we don't have any reservations. Like if you see here, See, consignment stock. Somewhere you can find the consignment stock. Customer consignment stock. Where is customer consignment stock? I think this is the one. Restricted. Okay, customer unrestricted somewhere. I think this is the one. Consignment unrestricted. Yeah. So it is 0 now. Let's see. I'll do the PCA. So delivery has been done. Okay, so still the stock will show you on 1447, but customer consignment stock it is showing as 47. If you double click on this, you can see to whom this 47 is reserved. See here, A2 Enterprises 301820 customer. This stock is reserved. So though stock at the customer's place, the ownership of material still remains with the company only. Right? So this is how we can create the consignment fill-up order. That is the first step. So consignment fill-up order says that so company will keep the stock at the customer's place without they're not going to charge anything. Okay, they're not going to bill them. Okay, so the moment once we do the goods issue, the stock will get reduces from unrestricted stock and moves to the customer consignment stock. It's a kind of reservation. So except this customer, nobody else can use this material. So that is the reason we're just keeping the stock at the customer's place. That means we are showing here the stock overview screen. Right? So this is about the consignment fill-up order. How the system is behaving differently than regular orders because of the sales document type. VO, V8, AB or CF. Okay, so go to details. Document category C, regular order only, and regular billing document type and regular delivery document type. Billing document type is blank, so that is the reason we will not be able to create the billing document for the KB. So everything is same as normal order except this billing document type is not assigned here. And item category VO V7. Item category is KBN. If I go to details, so billing relevance is blank. That means we are not going to bill them. It is not, the particular item is not relevant for billing, as well as the pricing relevance also blank. So there is no pricing existing for the particular item in the KBN. All right. So this is about the next setting. And the very important setting is schedule line category, VO V6. So in consignment fill up, the schedule line category is E1 or there will be E0 also. Okay, so let me enter item category is KBN. Schedule line category can be E0 or E1. I'll show you the difference between these two. Either you can use E0 or E1. So what is E0 and E1? Let me show you that. So this E0 without available check, E1 with available check. Okay. If you see here in the details, E0 will not be having the available check and transfer of requirement checkbox is not activated here. So if you see the E1, there is a available check and transfer of requirement checkboxes are activated. That means if you are using the E1, there will be available check. There is a separate concept called available check will done for the consignment process. If you use E1, if you don't use E1, if you are using E0, that means available check and transfer of requirements will not be done for the consignment process in the consignment fill up. Okay, that should be fine. So you'll understand that later, but just remember that we can use either E0 or E1. E0 without available check, E1 with available check. And so very important setting we need to remember here is movement type. Movement type here which we use 631. Because of this movement type only, the moment once we do the PGI, stock is getting reduced from the unrestricted stock and updating in the customer consignment stock because of this movement type. Right? So what are the different kinds of movement type we discussed till now? We discussed about the 561 movement type, 601 movement type, 651 movement type. Now the movement type which we use for the consignment fill up is 631 movement type. So this is very, very important to remember. Right? So I'll make a note of this. So 631. Definitely they'll ask this question if you're going for interviews, right? So how the consignment process will work. So sales document type is KB or CF. Item category is KBN, scheduling category is 0 or E1, and movement type is 631. So these are the main thing we need to remember in the consignment fill-up process. And coming to consignment issue, in the consignment issue, so like let's say stock వచ్చేసి మన దగ్గర customer దగ్గర stock 200 stock ఉంది. So now the customer selling 10 quantity to the other customers. అంటే నా consignment stock లో so 10 quantity is getting reduced. So in our case we have 47 in our consignment stock. So the customer sold 7 quantity to the other customers. It can be sold it like or it can be used for self also. It can be self consumption or resale purpose, whatever is the reason. Customer consumption stock is getting reduced. Whatever the stock got reduced, for that company is going to bill them. Right? Company is going to create the billing document for the used quantity. So that is called as a consignment issue. So the moment once we create the billing document, or the moment once we do the PZA, my stock will get reduces from the consignment stock. So that means the stock, whatever the stock we have in the customer consignment stock, that will be reduced the amount once we do the PZA. That means the ownership will get transfers from the company to the customers, because we are going to bill them now. Right? So how this process can be configured in SAP, that we'll see now. First, we'll create the consignment issue order by using the sales document type KE or CI in VA01. Then we'll create the delivery. Then we'll do the PZA. Then we'll get the billing document. It's a regular process, right? So we're going to do that now. Okay. So first of all, let me create the order. Consignment issue order. VA01. Sales document type which we use for the consignment issue is CI or KE, whatever. So 7 quantity I'm going to create. Okay, so if you see here, the price I'll enter it manually. Right, so here check the incompletion log. So item category is KEN and scheduling category is C1. Just remember this. Check the incompletion log. Make the consignment issue order saved. Go to VL01N. Enter the details. Okay, so store location is TG01. Why picked quantity is grayed out here? Why I'm not able to pick the quantity? So I'm not able to enter the picked quantity. Why? What is the reason? Because stock is already there at the customer's place, right? So why do you want to pick it again? Right? So then I'm going to do the post goods issue. PZA is done. So if you see here, if I refresh the screen, what will happen? What is the expected behavior here? What we can expect here? PZA is done for the 7 quantity. So we are doing the consignment issue and the consignment fill up చేసినప్పుడు 47 quantity company stock లోంచి మనకు రిజర్వేషన్ స్టాక్ వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు కస్టమర్ యూజ్ ది 7 quantity. అంటే యూజ్ అంటే it can be sell or resell, whatever. So what is the stock, like what will be the stock now? If I refresh the screen,
40.
it will become 40. Very good, excellent. So now it become 40. So now we need to create the billing document. So because 7 quantity customer use చేసుకున్నాడు కాబట్టి, so then we are going to create the billing document. So enter the this. So for the amount we are going to create the billing document. Okay, so in the consignment issue process, the ownership of the material get transfers from the company to the customers. Okay, so the moment once we do the post goods issue, stock will get reduces from the customer consignment stock, and it get reduces. That means it can be delivered to the customers, end customers. Right. Coming to the settings, okay, sales document type settings. Like we'll see it's a kind of normal order only, so there will not be any differences here. PE, CI. So everything same as normal order. There will not be any differences here. So we have the LF, we have the billing document type, everything is we have, right? So there is no, it's a regular normal order, like whatever we have seen the settings for the OR, the same settings will be here also. There are no much differences. Coming to Vivo V7, KEN is my item category. Here you can find one major difference. So everything, like, you know, we have the billing relevance, we have pricing, everything is we have, like, you know, same as TAN. But if you see here, special stock indicator, these are one of the major difference what you can see between TAN, regular item, and consignment item, right? So because of this setting, only system understand that, okay, I mean, system will treat that particular material as a special stock because of this special stock indicator W. Okay, so then system understand that, okay, so this is a special stock, it's a reserved stock or consignment stock. If you see here, W consignment stock, because of this setting, system understand that, okay, so it is a special stock. You have to reduce, or we need to consider this material as a special stock, so that, like, you know, it will be delivered to the customers from the reserved stock. So system will treat it as a special stock. These are one of the major important setting we need to remember. Remaining everything same as normal item, TAN, right? And coming to the scheduling category, Vivo V6. Okay, so is C0 or C1? Okay, you can use C0 or C1. C0 without available check, C1 with available check. Okay, just remember that. So here the moment type which we use here is 633. Okay, so these are one of the setting. Because of the setting only, stock will get reduced from the unrestricted, sorry, customer consignment stock. Customer consignment stock. Okay, so KECI, KEN, C0 or C1, 633 is the moment type. Right, 633. Okay, we need to remember these things like KB, KBN, E0 or E1, KB, 631, KE, CI, KEN, C0, C1. Okay, so then 633. So next one is consignment returns. So manam first scenario lo, company is just keeping the stock at the customer's place, right? So 200 stock manam customer దగ్గర పెడుతున్నాము, దాంట్లో 10 quantity they have used for resale purpose. So my customer consumption stock is became 190. Okay, so end customer 10 quantity, whatever he bought it from the dealer, he is going to return that material back to the dealers. That means company is getting the consignment stock again back to their stock. So మన దగ్గర 190 ఉంది. So due to returns, the stock is becoming again 200. We are going to receive our stock back to our customer consignment stock. Whatever the returns they have received, so that means my customer consignment stock is getting increased. Okay, so whatever the returns they have got it, for that company will issue the credit memo. So in this case, my customer consignment stock increased to 10 quantity, increase, like, you know, again 10 quantity, so it became 200 quantity again. So whatever the returns they have received 10 quantities, they need to issue the credit memo for that. Right? How these returns can be managed in SAP, that you're going to see now. So again, the moment once we do the post goods receipt here, right, stock is going to update in the unrestricted, customer consignment stock. The ownership of the material will start transfer back to the company again from the customer. So let me create the consignment returns order, VA01. Sorry. The sales document type is KR. Let's say 7 quantity. You're going to return all 7 quantity. You can enter any partial quantity also. And remove the create more billing document, billing block. Check the incompletion log. Okay. So we are going to create the return delivery. So store location is TG01. Goods is it. So if you check this stock will become 47. Okay, so whatever the returns we have received, for that we need to issue the credit for returns. Credit memo, nothing but a credit. So VF01. So credit memo has been issued to the customers. All right. So this is how the credit memo will be issued to the customer. So this is called the consignment returns. So if you see the process flow here, so consignment returns. So we'll get the consignment return order, the sales document type KR or CYNR, so return delivery, PGR, credit for returns has been issued to the customers. And coming to the settings, you can see the settings, but I'll write it here. Okay, KR or CYNR, item category is KARN, and schedule category it will be D0. So there will not be D1 because for returns we will not do any available check. And movement type is 634. You can check all the settings. Right. So this is about the consignment returns. Now moving on to the consignment pickup. This is the last step in the consignment process. So as I said before, normally we'll give 30 days of time to the customers. At 30 days gani, okay, time frame is so 6 months gani, 4 months gani. So sir, we are going to give you 30 days of time. If you're able to sell the product, you can sell it out. Otherwise, we'll take back our material. So that 30 days is over. Now company is going to pick up all the materials, whatever is there at the customer's place. They're going to take it back. Permanently, so they're going to take it back. Okay, so we're just transferring the stock from customer's place to the company's place. There is no billing involved because still the ownership remains with the company only. There is no billing is happening in this case. The process flow, how the process flow will looks like. So we'll create the consignment pickup order. The sales document type which you use here is KA or CP by getting into VA01. Return delivery is LR. PGR, VL010. Like once we do the PGR, the stock, okay, stock will get updates here. So stock will get reduces from the consignment stock and updates in the consignment, original stock. So let me go and create the pickup order. CP or KA. So I'm going to create the pickup order for 47. We have the 47. Even partial quantity also you can do. So price is 0. There is no billing will happen because we are taking back the company stock only. Okay, so then save it. VL01N. Enter the store location PG01. So do the post goods receipt. So if we check the stock now, so what will be the stock now? So 47 will get reduced and added in the unrestricted stock. So it will become 1447. So there is no billing will happen here because we're just getting the stock back to the company's place, because the ownership still remains with the company only. There is no billing involved. Settings you can check. Okay, what are the major differences you can see? But if you see here, item category is KAN, right? F0 or F1, schedule line category F0 or F1. Okay, movement type will be 632. 632. So we need to remember these things. So you can see the settings also, how it makes difference between normal order and consignment, fill up, issue, returns, and pickup orders, right? So this is about the consignment process. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the bill of materials. Then from next session onwards, next week onwards, we need to start with the pricing. Pricing is like, most important thing. Don't miss the pricing class. Right. So any questions here?
Sudhakar garu,
Yeah.
ఇప్పుడు when goods are returned in the last process pickup lo, so they'll get automatically updated in the unrestricted stock.
అవునండి,
అంటే
ఇక్కడ
మామూలు రిటర్న్స్ లో లాగా ఇక్కడ there will not be a check and then transferred to unrestricted.
సో వెరీ గుడ్ అబ్జర్వేషన్ ఇక్కడ. సో ఇది మనకు రెగ్యులర్ అన్రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ స్టాక్ లోనే అంటే కన్జ్యూమర్ స్టాక్ లోనే మనకు అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది.
అంటే ఒకసారి గూడ్స్ బయటకు వెళ్ళిపోయినాక వన్స్ దే గెట్ దెమ్ బ్యాక్ there will be a check, right? Usually.
Yeah. So actually that has to be enhanced. Okay. SAP standard process అయితే మనము unrestricted లో అప్డేట్ చేస్తాం కన్జ్యూమర్ సినారియోలో. సో బట్ స్టిల్ దే వాంట్ టు నార్మల్ గా ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ లో ఏం చేస్తారంటే, సో దే మూవ్ టు క్వాలిటీ ఇన్స్పెక్షన్స్, దే డూ ది క్వాలిటీ ఇన్స్పెక్షన్, ఫ్రమ్ దేర్ విల్ బి మూవ్ టు unrestricted అగైన్.
ఓకే.
యా. సో బట్ స్టాండర్డ్ లో మాత్రం సో అన్రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ లో యాడ్ చేస్తున్నాము. కాబట్టి మనం ఎంఎం వాళ్ళ హెల్ప్ తీసుకొని, సో విల్ మూవ్ ది స్టాక్ టు quality inspection,
quality
or
check.
restricted,
Okay.
or returns, whatever. Okay, so
Okay.
based on the requirements. But here
Thank you.
unrestricted like move this on. Yeah. Fine. So any questions? Fine then. So we'll catch up tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.